If you've ever started your own band, one of the things that you'll quickly realize is that there are just lots of little things that you have to get in place, almost like setting up a business. And there are a lot of little tools that you'll kind of pick up and realize that you need along the way. So my music room is getting more and more full the more gigs that we get and more little things that we need. So in this video, I'm really excited about it for my band because I'm working with Fishman, and they sent me this amp that is apparently lunchbox size. It's a 10-pound amp, and literally when it was dropped off at my door, I did not realize that the amp had come because it was so small and light. So in this, I'm gonna be just reviewing this amp. It's called the Loudbox Micro, so it's the smallest one, and it's advertised as a practice amp. But for me, I'm kind of thinking this could be a really helpful tool for my band. So my overall thoughts on what I think that I might want to use this for, first thing, we played some different private events where we're like in somebody's house and we're kind of like background music. So I'm wondering if maybe this could be used for events like that, because typically like they never want you really that loud in those types of settings, unfortunately. But I'm thinking that could be really great. The second thing is I think it could be really nice for practices, especially when we're adding bass and drums. And the last thing that I'm thinking it could be nice for is maybe if it could be used as a monitor. I'm not sure if I can like split the signal half in a PA and half for my monitor for those type of things. But anyways, I'm going to open it up and try it out and see what I think. Okay, so here's the amp. It is so small and it is so light. This is probably the tiniest amp that I've ever played, and I used to have like, you know, one of those old school practice amps when I started playing electric guitar. And I also really like, and this is true with all of Fishman's amps, how they have these kind of cool vintage looks to them. A few of the tone controls too that I'm noticing on here is that we have gain and all the normal EQ controls, and then reverb, chorus. There is a phase button. There's like a power button. There's not a switch. And then there's also a 1/4 inch and an XLR input. So I'm wondering honestly if we could plug our mics into it. So I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in. And one thing I was thinking about as I was getting this set up is that I am kind of wondering, since it does have the 1/4 inch input and an XLR, I have a Y cable, so I'm like, could I potentially use this to have both my sister, who's in my band, and I singing into this and a guitar? So I don't really know, I'm gonna try it out, but that would be pretty awesome if I could do that. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug it in and I'll see how it sounds. Okay, so here's what I ended up doing for this first one. I'm just plugging it in with the XLR output into Logic so I can record this, and I'm just miking it with a Shure SM7B. I wanted to just use a very classic mic here and have just a 1/4 inch that I'm gonna plug my guitar straight into and be playing in this just so you can hear how the sound would be if you were just gonna be playing it in your room. So still haven't tried it, so I'm gonna get my guitar and plug in. Overall, this thing sounds, I think, really good, and like I don't even have the volume up very much here, and it's pretty loud. Like if I was playing a really small like house gig, I would totally bring this. So I'm gonna try to go in now direct and see how this would sound going into my interface just with a XLR straight from the amp.
I'm curious about is like with the DI out, is it before the preamp or after?
How about I'll try that side directly into Logic?
Yeah.
And then I'll try also from that part. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do next is I am going to plug just an XLR cable into my Shure SM7B mic, and I'm gonna put that into the amp. So I'll have my guitar running as a 1/4 inch into the amp, I'll have a mic running in, and then from the back I have that XLR going into my interface. So I hope that that makes sense. But I'm gonna see if I could potentially use this for vocals, because how cool would that be if you could sing, have a mic and your guitar plugged into this tiny thing. I feel like you could be the ultimate little act on the go, and you should see the amount of cables I have going to this tiny little amp here. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and set this all up. This is a little song that me and my band, The Rivalry, wrote, so I'll just sing a little bit of that.
Silence in the air. It's 4 a.m. It feels like I'm the only one awake, haunting this room we used to share. And I can't find that peace of mind you have when you get old.
So last thing that I'm gonna try is playing around with some of the settings, like a typical product demo. So I'm going to start off by just adding some chorus and seeing what that sounds like. So overall thoughts, I'm not gonna lie, I actually talked to my husband before this video and was like, I've been given this practice amp, I don't really know what to talk about with it because I personally don't know like when I would use a practice amp for like playing along, like even though, you know, it could sound fun making it louder. But after using this thing and seeing how much it can do as far as like plugging in and recording out of that or plugging into a PA, using it as a monitor, the fact you can also do vocals out of it and everything sounds really good, I'm honestly blown away because it's like literally this big. So anyways, very cool amp here. You guys should definitely check this one out. It's really unexpected. So good job to Fishman. I'm really impressed by this product and hope you guys liked this review and found this helpful.